There we go. Oh, we don't have any audio at the moment. Can anybody hear me? Test, test.
Oh yeah, I can hear you
I
all.
Okay.
got you.
Yeah,
I guess it was just Marty who lost audio. It
yeah.
was pretty
Seems like
quiet there for a minute. That's a
yeah,
great question in the Q&A. We'll have to
yeah.
make sure
I'm
we
gonna.
answer that live
Yes,
at
we
some
are.
point too.
We sure are. Yeah, we'll let Peter do his thing, and then we'll get to questions.
Yeah.
But yes, thank you, Herschel. Great question.
Hey, everybody. Sorry for a little bit of a late start, getting things going and just being in Zoom today. But our chief technology person for Saturday morning, Corey, had an emergency. So
A
he had
good
to go
one though,
take care of
people.
something.
Don't worry.
Oh
Don't
yeah, it's a
be
good
alarmed.
thing.
It was a
Yeah,
good thing.
nothing bad.
Yeah. So let's see. Where are we at with everything? I don't know. I've been working so hard on Otherverse and in Airdrops that I don't know where I'm at right this moment.
Join the
I
club,
guess
right?
it's Saturday
in
morning
Right,
and we're in Zoom, right? So
right. We're just letting
um,
it fly. It's all good.
yeah,
We
exactly.
talk.
So you guys can see the Otherverse thing in the background there. I was doing some recordings last couple of days. Doing a lot of research and stuff on for Otherverse. For those of you who don't know, we're heavily involved with Otherverse, and we are getting ready to do their token generation event in about July timeframe. We believe it'll end up being a top 10 token, and so it's a lot of work to put these things together. I've been involved in quite a few token, being involved with their launching of their token on the investor side of it, right? Getting involved in the project. And it's a race to get in and all that stuff and trying to get into pre-launch tokens and things like that. And it's always a lot of work from an investor side. But if you've never actually done one of them from the project side, it's definitely a lot more work to get it done on the project side than it is on that side. A matter of fact, you know what I'd love, Dawn, if you could, why don't you share the white paper
Oh,
that's been
yes.
designed and put together. We call it a white paper. It's pretty fancy for a white paper, but
Amazing.
you guys can check it out. I don't know if it's up yet on Otherverse, but you can definitely check it out. We can show you that project there. That's pretty amazing. We had to go through and rewrite the whole thing. Initially, when Otherverse was designed and put together, it was put together more as a Web 2 type of a project. And over the last while, I've been helping with bringing it to a Web 3 project. And that's exactly what we've done with this, with the white paper here, is taking it from the original white paper, if you've ever read it, to the white paper that it is today, which is very Web 3 oriented. So one of the things that we're doing that is different is that, we were always doing a token generation event on another chain. That's where you start. But you'll see now in the white paper for Otherverse that we are actually going to launch an UTHEX chain, which will be its own standalone layer 2 chain that will function and operate as a vehicle for people to launch projects within the Otherverse universe, right? Inside the Otherverse project on there. So this is the UTHEX chain right here. We're going to be doing nodes. For those that don't know, that is a node license is software that will run on your computer, and it can process transactions. Eventually, those nodes will become the validators on our chain. So this is just a ton of work to put all this stuff together and get it all going. But this is the paper that we put together. Dawn did a tremendous amount of work on helping put it together and
Absolutely, she
getting
did.
it built. And then Anna from Otherverse is just phenomenal with the graphics and stuff like that. So It's a lot of work, a lot of planning, a lot of stuff that it takes, but it's definitely if you have a few minutes, well, it takes more than a few minutes. I think it's like 40 some pages, right? But
40, yeah, 40
yeah,
pages or
it's
so.
pretty extensive on how it goes into the vendor systems, into content providers, AI social technology, the vendor systems, AI social technology, the AI work, the AI team on Otherverse, the stuff that they're putting together is just absolutely just for AI companions in the world, and then of course property economy and the whole virtual economy for where people will come in. I mean, eventually there will be people that'll be making billions of dollars, as a community on a monthly basis inside Otherverse, whether that's um, producing digital goods, whether that's people that are providing services, whatever it may be, social media, all that stuff will be in the metaverse. In about a couple of weeks, there'll be the next update on the software. When that comes, just every aspect of Otherverse will be working inside. There, including the dimension systems and all of that stuff. That's actually one of the major patents that Otherverse has, is the dimension system, which is cool. And, what does this have to do with DFY? Well, eventually, especially once we have our own chain, the projects that are coming out on that chain need to do what? They need to have airdrops. So, we'll be working hand in hand with anyone launching on that chain, because we'll be the ones driving it. And there's some other, sides of things that we'll be doing that'll be absolutely just incredible. Working on that. So we've been working a lot on that. And of course, airdrops. Airdrops are a very in-depth thing, and especially with the bull run coming. The halving isn't just any, it's like 5 days, 6 days away right now. I didn't even have a chance to look yesterday because the halving is not on a certain day. It actually falls on a certain block. Is when it takes place, and that's why it's an estimate. Somebody had asked me the other day, "Oh, yeah, I thought you said it was this many days or it was going to be at this time," and I said, "No, it's a block. It's not a time frame." And so whenever that block hits, so it just depends on how fast blocks are processing on the network. So let me go to CoinMarketCap. Let's see what the estimate is right now for when that block will take place. Somebody had mentioned that it was probably going to be on 420. It does say 6 days away right now. So 6 days, 7 hours, 35 minutes, and 46 seconds. So it looks like somewhere in the world it'll probably fall on 420, but looks like it's going to fall on 419 here in Arizona at about right now at about 2 or 3 o'clock in the afternoon on I guess that would be Friday, right? So this next Friday, or is it actually Thursday, right? So we got Sunday, Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday. I guess Friday, yeah. So anyway, we've got that coming, which is by all means will create the next bull run. I know that it's I was talking to someone the other day that has just gotten into crypto. They have not been in it. They weren't through the last bull run and or the one before that. Now for those of us that have been through 1 or 2 bull runs, we are looking at these little tiny 5-6% drops and going, 8% drops and just going, no big deal, right? On that stuff right there. But if you're new to this, you're like, oh my goodness, crypto really went down today, right? And then of course you look at it right now in the last 7 days, Bitcoin's down 0.94%. I got to tell you guys, in the last bull run, when there were drops like this, it'd be 20-30% drops, and it'll happen throughout the entire. A bull run is not just the tokens going up, 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 up. the bull run or tokens, it goes up and then it comes down some, and then it goes up and then it comes down, and then it goes up and it comes down. And it'll do this for however long the bull run is, which is why sometimes it's hard to identify a bear market, because you're like, oh, it'll come back. It has all the other times. And then there's just one of these times where it goes down and then it keeps going down for a little while or sideways, right? And that's the bear market. And so because of the fact that people believe that this bull run is just getting started and it's going to last a decent amount of time, people are really racing to get their projects out, and they're racing to get airdrops done, and they're racing to put it together. So there are a lot of airdrops out there, and we have to sort through all of that data, all that information. I got to tell you, if you were trying to do this yourself, the only thing you would be able to do is maybe follow a couple of YouTubers and hope that they're right and that they keep on top of things. That's all you'd be able to do, because it is literally a full-time job. Jan is working on this. Myself I'm working on it. Tahima is working on it. We have other people that are looking at it. This is absolutely a full-time job for 2 or 3 people just to keep up with the surface of it and make this thing happen. So it's definitely a lot of work. We're basically, so we've made it through most of layer 0. We have a task to do there, which is the vote. So everybody right now that has prepaid. Now, I do want to cover this because me and Jody were talking about this. If it's, let's say right now we are working on layer 0, ZK Sync, and then we're going to do Scroll, Linea, and the Blast one, okay? So that's 5 airdrops that we're working on in this month. You cannot buy a package on the 26th or the 27th of this month, put your digital assets in, and catch those airdrops immediately. Because one of the core things with an airdrop is that you've done transactions in several months. So I did it in, March, and I did it in April, and boom. So when we're doing these airdrops, we do some airdrops. We started last month. So everybody that was in and that had packages and that had their digital assets in their wallet, their airdrop for layer 0 was done by the end of last month. So we've done a new transaction for them. Their wallet qualified in 2 separate months, and then so on. So there is not going to be the rush to get in. If you want to be in these airdrops, is at least 7 days before the end of the month. That's really the cutoff. So I do want people to understand. So and us as a community, we can't be like, oh my goodness, it's the 27th. You need to buy a package because you're going to miss this airdrop, and we can get you in the airdrop. Now, that doesn't mean you won't get in. Absolutely not. If the airdrop doesn't happen next month, then we'll do your airdrop that month, and then we can get you in two consecutive months, right? Of being part of that wallet being set up and going. But if it's not, then we won't be able to get you in, right? If the airdrop happens in that month. Because the one thing we don't want to do is do the work, right? Put forward, and then of course the disappointment to you that you didn't get that airdrop. So normally any airdrop that we're doing, if it's happening the following month, you have till the 7th to get it done. And then normally what happens is by about the first week of the month, they've said, hey, we're doing our airdrop this month. If they don't have it announced it by the 7th, it's usually not being announced. So if you came in, let's say in April, the 28th, we're going to wait till the 7th to do these airdrops for you. Then we'll start doing the airdrops. And if there's 4 airdrops open and you bought a 3 airdrop package, boom, we're going to knock out all 3 of your airdrops just like that. And then you're going to just be patient and wait for those projects to announce that they're doing an airdrop. If you bought a 9 package airdrop, then we're going to do, and there's 5 open that haven't happened or announced it for that month. We're going to do all 5 of those. And then, of course, the first week of the following month, we're going to get your second transaction done in all 5 of those. And then you're set. Now you just got to be patient and wait. So there are parameters that we cannot do anything about, right? I'm known for somebody who will extend and push as far out as we can for people to give them as much time as possible to get involved in things. But in this case, there are set parameters that are completely out of our control, and there's absolutely nothing that we can do about it, right? So it's usually if you have your airdrop done before the last 7 days of the month, so on the 8th day, or if not, you are going to have to miss those airdrops. But guess what? The good thing is there's a lot of airdrops coming, right? Oh my goodness gracious. And it's only going to pick up from here and move forward. So in the next few weeks, we'll be adding social media as part of the process to be able to qualify, probably by the, and I say the next few weeks, but by the time we get it going, it'll probably be the end of next month. But we'll walk you guys through being able to give us access to your X account so we can go ahead and do posts for you, things like that. The good thing is for those of you that are out sharing, if we're posting on X, for you saying, hey, I just participated in the, layer 0 airdrop, and it's on your Twitter wall or X wall, then people will go, oh yeah, that's that airdrop thing that, John talked about. Let me check it out. Right. I want to see what's going on there. So it can be a great tool for you to be able to, to continue to move forward and help grow the community and push things in the right direction. So I don't know about you guys. The question I was going to ask is, how many of you guys were in the first movie screening last night in Otherverse? So I was there. It was very cool. Blinkless is the name of the movie that they had. So it was a great event. There were quite a few people in there. So that was a fun event in there. We're going to start doing that more often. There was a little glitch. You couldn't sit down, or you couldn't see people sitting down. It looked like they were standing up, even if they were sitting down. But that's going to be fixed here pretty soon. And it'll be a very cool experience to be able to sit down. Long before this, several years ago, with our community, we actually did a movie night in Zoom. And actually, it was like, yeah, let's try it. So we had the movie night. It was actually good. We were able to talk a little bit after the movie, and everybody watched. We watched Raiders of the Lost Ark, right? So one of the good ones there. And it was great. But I got to tell you, the experience in the metaverse is going to be so much more than it is there. Now, I got to tell you too, as well, I am working on, I don't know how I work on so many things, but I am. I'm working on a comparison video for Otherverse and all of this. So I went into Claude. Claude is an AI, and I said, Claude, can you give me the top metaverses out there? And it gave me a list of about 40 something metaverses. And I saw a couple on there that are still in the planning phases or building phases. So I said, can you give me only the ones that have launched? And it's a list of about 17 metaverses that have launched. And so, of course, Roadblocks is one of them. Roadblocks is it's more of an online game that is like a gaming community versus a true metaverse. It has an economy there and stuff, but more geared towards kids. And then, of course, Horizon was on there, which is Meta's, which is a disaster any way you look at it. But it's a disaster that's bringing in about $400 million a year in revenue, right? So it's a pretty good disaster. But it's costing them billions of dollars. And then there's everybody else. So I've been looking at everybody else and doing some comparison. And we're going to put this out when you guys see, because it's very hard. If I said, hey, here's 15 metaverses, go put all of them on your computer and log in. Most of them you have to download software and then go through a whole thing to get into them, set up an account, put it together from that perspective. It takes a little bit of time to go do these. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to speed that process up for people, because we're just going to create a video and content that's going to show you the comparisons. So I've been taking snapshots of a club in this metaverse, of a forest in this metaverse, a river, and a waterfall in this metaverse, and then a waterfall in our metaverse in otherverse, and it's staggering, the comparisons between the two, guys. It's just crazy, right? And these are metaverses that have raised 50, 100 million, 150 million, $200 million during the last bull run, when Facebook changed their name to Meta. There was a rush of billions and billions and billions of dollars into the metaverse. It kind of pre-sped it up. If it wasn't for that, this would probably be the time when the metaverse would really be coming together. Gaming was a narrative, and that's really the space that it falls into, online worlds gaming. Gaming was a narrative of the last bull run, but it wasn't the major narrative. It is this bull run. It's one of the majors, AI and in gaming, and then what's called DPEN. DPEN is it's really the backbone. It's the shovels, the picks. It's the systems that'll help build out the Web3 infrastructure. So those are really the key narratives right now. Of course, meme coins, right? So meme coins popped up here recently. So you've got meme coins, which is driving the market right now. You've got gaming, which is going to be incredible because of the games that were built. In the last bull run, there were gaming companies that raised huge amounts of money, right, in the Web3 space. And then what they've done is they've spent the last 2 years building these games. Because if you guys know anything about games, Grand Theft Auto 6, I think it's on 6. They just announced, they announced that they were going to put it out in 2023, then 2024, and now it's like 2025 that it's coming in, because the complexity of these games are so difficult on it. And at the end of the day, in the next few months, when the final avatars, or I won't say final, but the most up-to-date avatars are put into Otherverse, I believe that our avatars are better than what GT is putting out, what Grand Theft Auto is going to put out in their gaming environment, which is pretty incredible. But anyway, so gaming, though, there's been some incredible games that have been built. They still need a little bit more time and a little bit more work. So that is going to be the narrative. And so I believe that just like that, Metaverse would have been the big one, except for Facebook changed their name to Meta. And that just brought a bunch of attention. It was a giant spotlight on it. But the spotlight was a little bit too early in the development process. But just like gaming in the last one, it helped raise a lot of money for a lot of projects. Here's the problem, though. In the gaming industry, because it was a known entity and it's simpler to do, even though it's very complex, there's probably about 30 companies that have built extensive games that over the next 6 months to a year will be functioning extremely well, and that will bring a lot of people in, a lot of players, and people will enjoy them and love them. On the metaverse side, all that money raised was basically just, they could have had a bonfire and just piled it up in the middle of the square and set it on fire, and it would have probably been a better expense for it, because of the complexities of building a metaverse are pretty hard, very, very difficult, actually. That's why I believe the total that Meta has spent is about 30 billion. And some of that's been in their metaverse spaces, on their Oculus and stuff like that they're working on. So it's a bigger piece than just, but they've spent a lot of money, and theirs is not just quite up to par yet because of the complexities, especially building a real world one where you'll be able to communicate and have a wedding that looks like you going, if we're going to get married and you're going to go down the aisle, and having avatars that are very similar, if not replicas of yourself, and making it like you're really at the wedding. Or trade shows. I don't know how you would have a serious trade show with your characters looking like cartoons. But as we know, Otherverse is not just a metaverse. It's going to be a complete system of metaverses. So the good thing is all these projects that raised all this money and have not done well, as soon as Otherverse by the end of this year will roll out the entire thing, right? And then early next year we'll roll out the chain. The nodes will be rolled out. Everything will be rolled out, and at that point, I think you're going to see a lot of these projects that I'm doing comparisons on say, you know what, let's go build an Otherverse. Let's just bring our economy. Let's bring our community. Let's bring our things into and they'll build their own sovereign within the Otherverse structure. And that'll be incredible when that happens. And then at that point, Otherverse is the DPIN, right? For the metaverse. Okay. So it's interesting and it's exciting to be a part of it. That's the vision that we see coming here in the very near future. And then again, why do I talk about this? Nexus, the airdrops, all of that stuff. We're core contributors, a core part of building out this ecosystem. I want to cover this real quick, guys, because a lot of you guys are out there right now, and maybe you've come into Otherverse and you've been in a meeting and you're like, Zoom, Otherverse, it's about the same, whatever. Every day, and I want you guys to get this extremely clear. Every day, tomorrow, we will be more digital than we are today. The following day, more digital. The following day, more digital. Right? Right now, we do a lot online, but it's a portion of our life. Most of our life is in the real world. As we continue to move forward, as we continue to go down the path, we'll continue to move more and more to a digital. So over the next 8, 10, 12 years, we will be more, if you take the cumulative days, we'll be way more digital. Why? Quantum computing will come into the picture. The ability to process data, information faster than ever before. I don't know in 8 or 10 years if there'll be a home-based, home-built quantum computing system, or will it just be the infrastructure? That is all unknown at this point, how fast it will develop. But I got to tell you, if we were talking about AI just, 18, 19 months ago, before November of 2022, right? Because that's when ChatGPT really came. They said, here's our AI, and that sped up the process dramatically. The same thing at some point will happen with quantum computing. And when you take AI, quantum computing, where we're at right now as a society, and that is going to be a pretty big leap towards us moving towards a digital society. And that's the reason why Project Citibank owns a company that basically does reports. And they've sat down and they said by 2030, the metaverse will be an $8 to $13 trillion industry, direct and everything that's built around that. And people like Larry Fink saying that all commodities, everything will be on blockchain. That's the reason to get airdrops, right? It's the reason for your, when you're talking to people, when you're out sharing this with people, why do they want to get airdrops? Well, because it's the simplest, easiest way for them to get involved in this space and then be connected to a community. Look, community is the power. Let's talk about one of the narratives that I talked about, which is meme coins. Meme coins are 100% community is commerce. It's a loose-knit community. It might be based on a frog, or it might be based on a dog, or it might be based on whatever. But at the end of the day, when you look at a project that has no utility or surface utility, a DEX, but nobody goes there. There's no volume there. A you know, a launch pad platform that doesn't launch any real, you know, sophisticated projects, whatever it is that they're building to make it look like there's something there. At the end of the day, why does Pepe have the volume that, or the market cap that it has? Because there are millions of people who have decided that Pepe is going to moon, and that at some point it's going to be a 20 or 50, $100 billion project. They like it. Pepe, you know, if you go look at some of their imagery, you know, it's their Pepe frog with with his pants hanging down, his rear end showing, and he's peeing on the dog and the, you know, all the other meme coins that are out there, right? Doge and Shiba and stuff like that, right? So it's just kind of that nature of it. There's other ones. Oh, here you go. Here's a great narrative. So almost all the meme coins that were out there were dogs, right? Dogs. So the cat people finally rose up, right? And they started doing cat ones. And so the cat people said, wait a minute, I like cats. Why is everyone dog? And so a couple of these cat ones have just blown up and began to grab momentum. That is literally community is commerce, right? Coming up with a concept or something that moves enough people to get behind it. So let's take us back to what we're doing, DFY. DFY is all about community is commerce. We get in, we get some airdrops, we get some digital assets flowing for people. Hopefully they decide to become part of our digital asset club. We build that community. If a community of loose people on the concept of a frog, Pepe, and it was part of a show or whatever, and it had like a cult type following of people that understood it and that knew what it was at the time when it came out. If that can turn into billions of dollars of wealth, this is really what I want you guys to think about. If that could turn into billions of dollars of wealth, then what can what we're doing turn into? Building a community that has specific intention on doing projects, finding the right teams, finding the right technology, driving that technology in those teams and getting behind them and supporting them and helping make that happen. I believe we can create over $1 trillion in wealth by doing that and putting that together. So our software is working well. We're well into ZK Sync. Matter of fact, I talked to Morgan yesterday. There are a few of our people that are on step 12. So essentially right now we have one that has one more task left to do for everybody. And then we have ZK Sync, probably I would think by Tuesday or Wednesday, that'll be completed for most people, except for, again, one final step, which will get done sometime in this next 30 days. So that'll be 2 airdrops that people have, and we'll start working on the third one. I would think that would be done by the end of Friday. Our goal is to ramp up to 8 airdrops a month, which will speed up the process. We had talked about doing 3 airdrops every single month for, you know, so, and we would double those up for the people that were doing the bigger packages. Right now, we're going to get to 8 airdrops a month. So if somebody buys a 175 package, within 30 days, their airdrops are done. They just have to be patient from that point forward. If you're buying a 9 airdrop package, it's you're going to be done in about 2 months, and then so on and so on. A 90 airdrop package is going to take within 12 months, will be completed for you. And then you just, of course, by then you would have already received some airdrops, and that would be cranking away. Right now we're running a bunch of specials. I can tell you guys, once we get our first airdrop, there won't be very many, you know, buy a package, get some free airdrops available. We won't need to at that point because, you know, first time we you know, do that, an airdrop for people, and it actually gets received, then there's so much belief in what we're doing from that point forward that it'll just grow like crazy on its own. And so we'll get rid of all of those promotions. There'll be maybe an occasional one from here and there, but not very many at all. From there, we might run, contests where we're giving away crypto or giving away some stuff, things like that, but not promotions when it comes to extra airdrops. So those will be phased out here in the next 4 to 6 weeks, maybe 8 weeks at the most. And then like I said, our major goal is community as commerce. We're going to build a strong community here, and we'll get the I've been working on also the planning stages, because we're as soon as we're done, we take the next phase, which will be the next probably 4 to 6 weeks. Then we'll start working on the software for the digital asset clubs, that whole aspect of things. And that has been, it's just crazy what we're going to do there, and moving this stuff forward. So a lot of great things happening, a lot of work to do still. But we thank you guys as a community members. For those of you that are out sharing and helping us grow the community, thank you for doing that. We love when we send out commissions and, see people making $600, $800, $1,000, $1,500. We love, being able to do that and get that out there. I can't wait till we have our first, 6-figure week where we paid out over 6 figures in commissions. Guys, we can answer some questions too. So if you do have any questions, you can put them in the Q&A.
Yes,
that'd be perfect.
thank you. There is one I would like to very much address.
Yep.
Well, there's two actually now. Thank you, Marty. All right, Herschel asked a really great question. You may have gotten an email this week where we gave you a little bit of a workaround to the parallel packages. The reason we did that was the software will more than likely be ready. We've been testing it and we had to make a few changes to it. And then the devs went on their religious holiday. They're coming back Monday. So by Friday of this coming week, we will have the parallel package system in the back office, and you can follow the procedure. I'm going to video for you and help you understand that, and you can do it that way. The reason you can do that is because you will have all your multiple packages in one login. Okay, that's all we're trying to do is get it all in one place for you. You log in, you see all the packages you're running, and you've decided to do in parallel, which simply means you have 2 packages. We've already started the 1 package for you. You're probably through layer 0 right now. That airdrop was first. We are going to start your second one whenever you do the process, and you'll be running both of those packages with layer 0, and everything is good. The workaround we sent, and we did not mean, so apologies for confusion we may have created, or any kind of stress we may have created. We were not trying to complicate things. We were just trying to help those we had heard that didn't want to wait on the development to be done. So
Dawn, let me jump in here real quick. Guys, this is a community of people. We had some people that were panicking that they were not going to get in these airdrops because the technology was taking longer to build. So we said, hey, there's a solution, and that is to set up your own account, a second account, and do it from there. That is only for to make it to where the people that were panicking, because we don't want to create any panic. So it's like, hey, here's a workaround, here's something that we can do. And so that's exactly what we're able to do.
Okay, thank you for that. Yes. The only difference, guys, there's really no difference in how the airdrop is going to function. Nope. How you are going to see everything. It's just it will be in a different account for you.
Yep.
And that's it. The functionality is all still the same. You're going to connect all the same. You're going to create your support account exactly the same, whether you have 1 package or 10. None of that changes. The only thing that changes is you'll have a different login for this package, which you'll keep up with. You'll have this login for this package. That's just today. If you want to do that, you are so welcome to. That is just our solution. We are about solutions. If you don't know that about us by now, we create solutions. So that was just a great solution to get people going if you didn't want to wait. I would prefer to wait because I'm going to have all my packages in one login. I'm going to get to see everything going on. It's going to be beautiful. You're going to love the parallel system. You really are. So that's that. You can definitely decide what you want to do from there. I'm not going to tell anybody what to do.
Yeah, and there's no wrong or right, right? If you feel
No,
that you
there's
know
no-
you may miss it or whatever,
Right.
it's okay to set up a second account.
Yes.
It doesn't create any more really work for us or
Nope.
anything like that. Just
Nope.
comes up as a second account, or you can just say, "Hey, I'll wait, and then this week we'll get that done, and then you'll be ready to go." So,
Absolutely.
you know, the last thing we want to do is create stress in people's lives, and there were some people who were stressed that
Right.
that they were not, they thought that they might miss it, and so we
Right.
just came up with a workaround to make it to where they would not
Exactly.
miss the event or
Exactly.
feel like they were going to miss the event
Right.
from there. So
Yeah.
all right,
Okay.
excellent,
Second
excellent.
question.
Okay,
Next question. Unless you want to say something else.
no, we're good.
Not trying to cut you off. Okay. So Marty, you have a negative 25 notice in your airdrop account. How does that happen? I believe I have enough money in the account. Yes, you do. Okay. We are consistently going through all these different steps for the airdrops. They do take funds initially. We will bridge over here. We will swap for this. We then swap back later. We bridge it back later. We're constantly moving. So you're fine. Okay. You do have enough. Yes, please just wait, be patient. I promise you, it's all working out beautifully as we go through the different steps. If we say you only deposited 125 because that was your amount, and some of these airdrops, can take a little bit, right? Because we're trying to make sure we get all the steps done. So what we will do is if we see you need a little bit more funds for another step down the road, we will go and bridge it back for you. We will make sure that we utilize the funds you've deposited. Okay. If something new comes up, as Peter has mentioned, let's say a project comes to us and they say, hey, we want to do this airdrop for you, and we do need more funds to accomplish that, that is certainly your choice. If you want to deposit more and get involved in a different project, we're going to leave all that up to you, but we will let you know that this deposit just isn't enough to do 5 airdrops, right? It's just enough to do this many. So you can deposit more and we can go on. But that's coming, and that's not here today. So don't worry about anything you're seeing. We are managing it. We're getting everything set up for you. It's all good. I can promise you. We work on it every single day, morning, noon, and night. Okay. Mike, great question. Apologies. It is my fault that commissions were not able to be paid out for the last previous week, right? I gave Peter the information for the past 2 weeks of commissions. What happened was the reporting got skewed a little bit. Some of you knew about it already. I had posted in Discord and on Facebook that, please don't worry about what you're seeing in reports. We had a developer upload something that made a change to all the statuses of the packages, and that affects commissions. And so when that got resolved, I had to do a lot of triple checking. I just need to make sure amounts are right. I need to make sure everything is perfect before I send anything to Peter. So that took some effort and work, and I had to make a lot of changes. So I just wanted to make sure everything was good. And now
if any of you guys were transferring anything yesterday, you saw a notice come up saying that this may be somebody might be trying to steal your fund.
Yes,
we actually went to transfer the commissions yesterday. That notice came up. Of course, when you're transferring thousands of dollars, you don't want to send it if it's that notice. So we did not send the funds yesterday, but they have been sent. They are sitting in Dodie's wallet, and she will probably get that done sometime. I would think I don't know about today. She's doing a lot of tax stuff because the tax is on Monday. So I would say that if she's not able to get it done, because she's an accountant, so she's doing a ton of tax stuff right now. If she's not able to get it done today or tomorrow, I might have her send that over to Sharona, who could handle it. We'll get that out as soon as possible, or it'll come out on Tuesday, right? So
Right.
we are working on that. Again, apologies for that. Remember, guys, this is a brand new piece of software that we built, and we built it within a very short period of time. I don't know if Jody, maybe you can put in, he has the date of when we actually ran this concept by. So for us to get it done this quickly. And of
Right.
course, we believe the bull run is coming, right? And we believe that there's going to be tremendous airdrops. So we're racing as fast as possible to get this done and get this up and working and put it together. So February 12th. So it is it's 2 months yesterday then.
Oh, nice.
Wow.
Nice.
Seems like it's been longer than 2 months, but that's crazy.
That is crazy.
All right. So all right. So okay. Go ahead,
Jody's
Dawn.
question. Jody has a very important question. I'm so glad you brought this up. I don't know how much more to drill this home, so I'm going to think of other ways to help everybody understand this. If you have 2 packages, I must have a different MetaMask wallet for you to create a different support account. Okay. I cannot manage 2 packages with 1 support account and a deposit made in it. I have to have them separate. Okay. Each package, let's say, for example, has different airdrops associated with it. I have to track that and keep it separate. So we've got to have a different support account for every single package, and that requires a different MetaMask. The system's going to tell you if you try to connect the same MetaMask to a different support account or package, it's going to give you an error because you've already used that MetaMask. I can't use that one again. So yes, please create a different MetaMask. You can use the same MetaMask account or login, let's say, in your browser, right? You can use all the same MetaMask and just create new accounts in there. And that way you can manage them.
Yeah, I think
That's
it's
totally
good
fine.
to have separate accounts anyway, guys. It'll make it much easier for you to say, okay, I spent this much. Here's the digital assets that I've gotten on these accounts instead of commingling it. I have a lot of wallets. The reason why I have a lot of wallets is if I just use that wallet for a specific purpose and I forget something, I can go out to the chain, to the Explorer, and I can see every transaction and go, okay, here's exactly what happened. So if you mix wallets together, it gets that much harder to do.
Right.
Tax time, much easier if you have one wallet that has had specific transactions and stuff in it. Rather than having, wallets that are completely commingled together. So
Right.
much easier to do that if you set up separate ones. All right.
All right. And then Marty, please get with support on that. I unfortunately am one of those visual people. I cannot troubleshoot by just somebody telling me something. I literally have to see what's going on to understand and then fix it. So please just get with support. Sharona is amazing at breaking things down for me. So then I know exactly what to do.
Yeah, whatever it is, they'll get it fixed.
Absolutely.
Never panic. Never worry.
No need. All right.
Life is too short to worry and be panicked and live in fear all the time.
Way too short.
I know the powers that be want us to be in fear, but I choose not to participate.
Thank
All
you.
right.
That was a great talk, by the way. Thank you for that.
Oh, you're welcome. Yeah, guys, we're in the right place at the right time. It would be if we were in, 1994 and I was out talking to people about, maybe 96 about the internet and that there's going to be this transformative movement that's going to change our lives. I don't know what I would do without the internet.
Right.
It would be like, what would a world be without the internet? It'd be crazy, right?
Hard.
Oh my
Very
goodness gracious.
difficult.
It would be just insanity, right? So think about a world without cell phones, right? For those of us that have been around long enough to for the invention of the cell phone. I really want you to sit down and remember what it used to be like before cell phones. You had to find a payphone. Oh my God, those things. You know, they always talk about how dirty your own cell phone is. Remember the days when we would have to go use a payphone? And it would be like you'd be afraid to touch the payphone, right? 'Cause, you know what I mean? It'd be like you look at it, it's like, oh my goodness, what has that thing been to? Right? You know, and then you had to find a quarter or a dime, right? For those that's been around maybe long enough for the dime side of things, but you know, you had to find a quarter, and you'd be like, now it was a great excuse when we were kids, right? Oh, mom, I would have called you. I didn't have a quarter.
Uh-huh.
How many people use that excuse all the time to get out of get out of trouble? I didn't have a quarter.
Oh, you
Right?
have a quarter. I couldn't call you. Well,
Right?
we can't use that now.
No, you can't use that
My
now.
kids have
Right?
no excuse.
No excuses. You have the phone with you, right? Oh, Jody said I only needed a nickel.
Oh my gosh.
Oh my goodness. The way the world has changed, if you really think about it. How many people, you know, cigarette machines, right? Right now, like you go in a store, you got an ID and everything else. But when I was a kid, you could walk up, put in, you know, 75 cents in a cigarette machine, pull a little lever, and a pack of cigarettes would
My
pop out, right? Not
gosh.
that I ever bought them or did that, right? But it was just a much different time, right?
Yeah,
Than
wow.
it is today. So we're making lots of progress, lots of technology, moving towards a digital life. So we can either watch it happen, or we can position ourselves to get involved with it. And I know all you guys are positioning yourselves. You wouldn't be here if you were not positioning yourselves to be in part of this digital part of it. It's just the side of it that's super important for us to understand is how big it can get and how valuable it can become for each and every one of us. It's really in our hands. The bigger we grow the community, the stronger we build this community, the more money there is in the community. Rising tide raises all ships. 10 people can create more value in this digital society working together than 5, and 50 can, you know, do a multiplier on that. 500 can do a multiplier on that. 5,000 can do a multiplier on that. 50,000 can do a multiplier on that. So our you know, our top priority is to find people that want to help grow the community. If you're not one of those people, that's okay. Being part of the community is extremely important and valuable, right? 50,000 members take 50,000 members. There might only be 5,000 or 6,000 members that help build that 50,000 or 500,000, right? It's only a percentage of it. So if you're one of the people that just want to be part of the community, you're engaging and you're getting involved with it, perfect. That's excellent. It's one of the things that is tough to do, guys. You'll always hear me talking about building the community. It's not to make you feel guilty. It's not to push you to do something that you don't want to do. It's just an important factor for you to become digitally wealthy, is for us to grow the community. Just like in any process, right? Let's use baseball as a example, okay? Not everyone on the team is a pitcher. There's somebody who pitches the ball, and it's because they can throw it 100 miles an hour, or a great curveball, or you know, a great sinker, whatever it is. They're the pitcher. That's what they do on that team. And then there's other people who are on the field playing, right? They're the first baseman, the second, the third. They're the outfielders. They're the catcher. All of them important. And not everybody on the team does the same task, because if we all were pitchers, then we'd lose every game, no matter how good of pitchers we were, because there would be nobody in the outfield to catch the ball. Okay? That's on the field. But guys, behind the scenes, there are probably more people who work in the office, from the accounting people to the person answering the phone, to the promotions and marketing people, to the, you know, the doctors. There's a whole ecosystem of people doing different things. Some of those people, you know, you'll never know their names. They just do their thing that needs to get done, including the janitor who cleans up the locker room, who cleans up the offices, who does all that stuff. but it takes all of those people to build it. So, you know, sometimes people are like, oh, I don't want to go on those calls anymore. They just talk about growing the community. And that's not me. It's okay. If it is truly not you, you just let that go in this ear and come out the other ear and just go, yep, and pray that we find the people that like Herschel and Jody and Sarah Warren and the people that will help us and that do want to help grow the community, because they're important. You're important. Everybody that's a part of this ecosystem is important for us to accomplish that goal. So, but my job as the leader, as the head person here, is to remind people that we need to grow the community, because that's what I'm looking for. This is what these calls are for, is for us to find the right people, get them in the right place, and move that thing forward. So I just don't, you know, sometimes at the end of a call, I'm like, oh man, I sound like a broken record. I just keep talking about community as commerce and let's grow this thing and build a community. The only reason why I do that is I understand the value to every single person that is here when we put together that community of 20, 30, 40, 50, 100, 200, 300,000 people. And I want you to win. I want you to get digitally wealthy. And the way to do that, community is commerce. We're going to continue to promote, continue to move this thing forward. I thank you guys for being here and giving us some time on your Saturday. Next week, we will be back in Otherverse. And we'll start having some fun there as it continues to expand. I think we're still about 2 weeks off from the next update, the next software update, the patch as they call it. But once that's in place, then the possibilities there will become a lot more, and we'll be able to do a lot more things while we're in there. I will let you guys know that the Nexus metaverse is actually getting very close to being our base one. It'll be a smaller one, but it will be done. We'll have the one of the first sovereigns on all of Otherverse. Our yacht is very close to being done. The initial part of it, we'll add to it. Our coral reef area has been built, and the functionality for scuba diving, things like that, are for you to go swimming down in the water. All of that stuff is getting closer and closer every single day. I know sometimes it's like you're on the outside, you know, just kind of looking in, and you're like, what's going on? What's going on? Everything we're working on like crazy in the background. So there's lots of people working on this, right? There's whole development teams and stuff that are building out what will become our own sovereign metaverse. And you guys will see once we get it up and running and that's going, and we're ready to start putting the rule sets in, we'll start having votes on what rules we want for in our metaverse. Of course, if you own an Avigami, you know, you're going to end up with some land in that metaverse as we develop it and build it. One of the things we don't even talk about in the digital memberships is the land ownership in there. It'll be in a unique way, but it'll be exciting and fun to be. We're going to have trunks at some point here. If you've done the Otherverse trunks, they're going to be minting. You'll get a key to your apartment, so you'll know what type of apartment you have. You won't be able to go in yet for a little while longer. You'll know some other details and stuff about, you know, how many items are in your trunk, and you'll have all that type of stuff. So lots of cool stuff happening, and we're excited to be here. It's a lot of work for us, but we'll continue to do it. And I want to thank you guys again for being here on Saturday. Have a great rest of your Saturday, Sunday, and we'll see you guys on Tuesday at 5 PST for another presentation. Let us know if you need anything. Remember, do not live your life in the fear of loss. Live it in the benefit of what you'll gain, you know, in moving things forward. All right. Thanks, guys.